Hey there folks, my name is Peter, and on today's video we're going to look at what's inside my OC-140 from Veto Pro Pac. Now before we get into the nitty-gritty of what's inside this pouch, let's first talk about the pouch and also my general use case for it. Now I am not a professional anything, I'm not in the trades, I'm purely a DIYer. This pouch however was recently released, and if you bought another Veto Pro Pac item, you actually got this for free. Now I have the Veto Pro Pac TP XXL, which has pretty much all of my tools, and I plan to do a review of that on the channel here sometime soon. If that would be of interest to you, be sure to leave a comment down below. That being said, I couldn't find anything I wanted to buy in order to get this for free, so I just paid for it. I think it was $74.99. It came a few weeks ago, and I already had a purpose in mind of what to put in here. And that's what we're going to talk about today. As far as the features of the pouch itself, it does have this little nifty carabiner, so if you want to hang it on something, you certainly could. Other than that, not much to report from the outside, but the real magic is what goes on the inside. Now, I said I had a very specific purpose for this, and I do. I find myself using heat shrink tubing, needing a heat gun, soldering wires often. And I'm not always home, nor am I always near power. For example, if you're on a boat and you have to solder a couple wires together, it can be a real pain to bring down power to that boat without taking it out of the water. And I want to be able to do everything from this pouch. Now I already had the perfect tool for that, made by SnapOn, and we'll actually talk about that near the end. But for my money, it's the best tool that SnapOn makes. So without further ado, let's get into the bag. It's obviously very well made, as with all Veto Pro Pac bags, made in the USA nonetheless. So first things first, when I open it up, this is sort of what it looks like. Now, the panel that's here with these two straps is removable, and Veto Pro Pac actually sells, I think, 6 different attachments that you can have here. I have the stock attachments, but there are plenty of videos on YouTube going over each of the different attachments if that's something you're interested in. So first things first, if our goal with this kit is to be able to cut wires, strip wires, so on and so forth, we have to have a tool for that job. Here I have the Milwaukee wire stripper. I like this one because it returns as opposed to some of the other ones, which doesn't have the spring. I got this recently. I haven't used it all that much, but I know Milwaukee's getting really big into the hand tool segment. For my money, they're okay, but again, I'm not a professional or a tradesman, so you'll have to do your own research if that's where you find yourself. But for me, these are perfect. Next, on this side of the pouch, I have a little Milwaukee Pen Light. Now, I didn't buy this thinking that it would go in this pack, but I had it laying around and I figured, why not? I actually got this for free from Ohio Power Tool when I bought some other Milwaukee pack-out gear, so it seemed like a perfect fit for this bag. Now, if we're going to be doing a lot of soldering, right, and we're going to be using a lot of heat shrink, we're going to have to carry all that stuff with us. So this pouch in the middle, this zipper pouch, actually removes, okay? So if you didn't want it, you don't have to have it. I like it because what I have in here is all of my assorted heat shrinks. So first up, I have the solder. I think they call these like butt splicers, right? So you put the 2 wires in, it's already got the solder built in, and these form waterproof connections. So I have a few of the sizes that I tend to work with most. The most recent job I had for this was actually fixing a set of trailer lights, which I did a YouTube short for. You can check that out above. So I like to have these with me. These are actually not my favorite kind. There's another one where you actually can crimp and then solder, but this is what I had. After that, I've got some Harbor Freight heat shrink, again, sizes that I find myself using more of than not. And then I have a separate bag also of Harbor Freight heat shrink in some of the bigger sizes. But the stuff I actually use the most is this adhesive lined heat shrink. Now these tubes are a little long. I probably could have cut them, but I'm fine to leave them as they are, so they had to fit in this snack bag. But when you heat these up, they have an adhesive on the inside. That melts as well, forming an even stronger connection. I recently used these, not for anything electrical, but to fix a BMW gas cap. I also made a short for that. Be sure to check it out if you're interested. And that's all that I have in this pouch. Now, full disclosure, I got this very recently. I'm sure I'll add stuff to this over time, but for now, these are some of the core components. Before we get into the main attraction, I've also got some electrical tape. You can never go wrong with this stuff, of course. and the main attraction. So I'm carrying butane in here because the tool that I have that solders, that functions as a heat gun, that functions as a plastic welder, and that functions as a hot rope cutter is powered by butane. So I don't need any electrical outlets to be able to run this tool. And that tool is the SnapOn 5-in-1. So it's a butane powered multi-tool. Here I've got the heat gun attachment already on it, but if you want to swap these out, it's as easy as turning this, putting the new one on, and clicking it in. When you want to start it, can you hear that? And then when you're done, you just click it back off. Now, in my experience, this uses a little bit more butane than I would like, but for how flexible it is, that's but a minor complaint. SnapOn, and sort of the Apple of tools, also gives you a tube of solder, which I find really nice. They have a pad here for cleaning off your tip, and then at the bottom, you'll find all of your extra implements, right? So you could swap these out. It comes with only one already attached to the quick connect, right? So you can imagine a scenario in which you are soldering two wires together. Set that to the side. So you've got your soldering tip. You solder your wires together, and then when you're done, put your piece of heat shrink over it, connect this, and now you've got a heat gun. So like I said, for my money, this sort of all-in-one kit is perfect. Again, I'll say it one more time, not a professional, so you might see this as an electrician or as a, I don't know, a heavy-duty mechanic and say to yourself, you know, I don't know how useful that would be. But for me, household projects, DIY type stuff, this has worked out perfectly. So again, the Veto Pro Pac, this is the OC-140, fits all of this somewhat tightly. It's not as comfortable as I might like for it to be, but I can also get a smaller thing of butane in the future to thin it out a little bit. That's all for this pretty short video. If you liked it, I would appreciate it greatly if you'd like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.